Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Would you sleep with sick women?
I may be pregnant, but I'm still a man.
Spank the unruly ones.
It's indecent, it's vulgar, it's blasphemous.
I'm gonna ride you till you can't stand up.
Come on, let's go down.
All right, keep your shirt on.
LoveLine's meant for an adult audience. LoveLine may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion is advised. Here's LoveLine with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
Yes. Engineer Mike. Mike, did you just pot up my mic late? Is that what that was? Or is there something wrong with the mic already? All right. All right. What day is it? Forget it. Phone number, 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician, addiction medicine specialist, and is very qualified to be here tonight. Tonight, our guest is Tom Arnold. You know Tom. Well, I guess started off married to Roseanne, and basically has parlayed that into a nice career. And True Lies and McHale's Navy, 9 months. Many other projects, and has a new show coming out on the WB in September called The Tom Show. Hey.
All right.
You know you've arrived when they're naming stuff after you. There's this new trend in TV, by the way, where people are getting shows named after them, and not only that, but there's some shows like News Radio, I believe, where the characters are named after a lot of the cast.
Okay. That's not a new trend, by the way.
It is.
You ever heard of a little show called Lucy?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
They used to do that. I think they originally did it that way. And with my show, I'll take, if somebody's got a better name for it, which I'm sure there is. I was trying to think of a name
Adam Carolla
that would, yeah, that'd be good. But I was trying to think of a name that people would say, well, that's the show when they look at the TV guide, because the WB is a smaller network so far.
Do they let you name it?
Well, yeah, if you write it and...
Oh, okay.
You know, if you come up with a show.
Well, tell us about it. You.
Well, I play. I play a guy that was married to a talk show host. Let's say Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
Very successful. Have 2 kids, 2 daughters, 13 and 8, and we get a divorce. I'm the producer of the show, and you know, it's an ugly divorce, and I have to go back to St. Paul, Minnesota, from L.A. and try to find a job because I can't get one in L.A.
Right.
And so I had to take my 2 daughters back there because I have them during the school year. And I started a station that has I'm going to produce a show. Ed McMahon stars, is a talk show host. Breakfast with Charlie is the name of the show.
It's like a local show.
Yeah, but he's been doing it 43 years. He's a legend. Basically, they had me come back there to kind of get rid of him. And then they'll fire me, and I'll be the jerk from out of town. And I go back there, and I worked for Ed. His character when I was a kid, mowed his yard and stuff, worked around that station. So I go back to the same place, and a lot of my old friends that I grew up with are there, and have to start over. And my ex-wife's show is the #1 show on our station.
Right.
So she's on the monitors, and she badmouths me at the end of every show.
Well, tell us how the process works. I mean,
well,
do you
think,
come up with the idea
yeah.
and then shop it around?
I came up with it and took it. This is the place I took it. The Universal asked Universal Television said we'd like you to do or like to sign you to try to develop a show, and I thought that I'll give that a shot. And I said, well, I got this one idea. So we went to Warner Brothers and the WB, and I pitched it, and they said, great.
And then you wrote it.
Yeah.
And let me let's get some history here for a second, because most people know who you are by now. But I guess your story is I don't really know your complete story.
Right.
I mean,
you don't read the trades.
No, you started off as a stand-up. I know that.
Right. I started off. I grew up in Iowa, and in 1983 I moved to Minneapolis to try to do stand-up comedy after I left the University of Iowa. And
now, how old were you then when you moved to?
23.
All right, and you started just the club circuit.
Yeah. I started. I had had a job too. I was a bar back and a bouncer and stuff, and started doing the open stages, and then after a year or so, I was able to travel a little bit and then support myself. And I lived there 5 years and moved out to L.A. in 1988 to write on the Roseanne show. Roseanne, who I'd met in '83 when she was traveling, just started doing comedy herself. And was one of her first road gigs, and was the headliner, and I was her middle act.
Now, had you started a relationship with her back then? Or
well, we were friends, I mean, just before she moved to L.A.
Right.
And we were friends fast. We hit it off. We liked each other, and she would come back and perform, or we'd go on the road and write stuff together.
But you started as a writer on the show before you began a relationship with her in that capacity.
Yeah, more of a personal relationship. Yeah.
Yeah,
Intimate.
because that's it's not common knowledge.
Yeah.
Most people assume that you guys met up, had a relationship, and then she brought you onto the show.
No.
All right, so you earned your way onto the show.
Well, I think so, and it was a great opportunity that she didn't have to give me.
Right.
But after I was there, I kind of figured out what I was doing and worked my way up.
This show's a lot about talking about surviving adverse experiences in life. And when you were up here last time, you talked a little bit about some tremendous stuff you had to dig through. And
well, I feel like everybody goes through all these adverse experiences with
not true.
Well, a lot of people,
everyone but
sexual stuff when they were kids, perhaps, and alcoholism and drug abuse and all this stuff, and it's really what you do and you work on it and then put it behind you, hopefully, or turn it around.
Well, most people in the industry, especially the talent, especially the comedians, especially the female comedians, I've been finding out, a lot of the motivation for them going the direction they went career-wise is because they suffered some horrible atrocity.
Right.
A lot of alcoholism, some molestation, what have you, and it's not a coincidence that they're now up on stage performing and working it out that way.
Well, a lot of people don't choose to get treatment, though.
No, they don't, and that's bad.
You had.
Yeah, I've been clean and sober for 7 years and 7 months now.
What was your drug of choice?
Booze and cocaine.
And
I tried them all, but I like those the best.
And what finally got you into treatment?
Well, it was I realized that I couldn't stop, and I'd ruined. At the time, I was engaged to Roseanne, and we were getting ready to get married, and she canceled the wedding, and she. I'd been in rehab before and talked my way out of there, and she canceled the wedding, and I lost my job, and everything was falling apart, and I'd finally admitted to her, I'd been lying to her and saying I wasn't doing it. I just couldn't sleep for 5 days, and it was really, I was a bad character.
No, it's the usual story. I mean, it's not you're a bad person. It's just the usual history of addiction.
Right, but so I went into rehab the last time, and I, was basically there to kind of, get it all together so I could, get my relationship back and my job, and people would maybe like me again, but I was there on the 8th day I was there. Something weird happened, and I was feeling good, and I thought, well, maybe I deserve to feel good. It's kind of nice, and so it was a situation where we definitely were not getting married, and we talked on the phone, and I said to her, I love you. We'll always be friends and everything, but I think I'm going to do this for myself, and then she said, of course, well, we're getting married. If I'd have known it was that easy, I would have said it, in the previous 8 days. But it was good, and I've worked on it every day since.
And so you go to meetings and you do the 12 steps and all that.
12-step program, yes.
And what have you replaced it with? Into nude
cigars,
skydiving or anything?
No. I've always been a compulsive eater, and that's something I work on. I work out a lot now, and I've lost a lot of weight, but that's still there. I mean, sometimes I feel like I don't have booze, drugs.
The idea, Adams, you don't replace feelings with things like
that's the idea.
Thrill seeking, and drugs.
Theoretically, you don't, but we all know when as soon as there's a 10-minute break at AA meeting, it's chain smoking and coffee pot drinking.
But that's because people with this disease are biologically prone to seek activation of that part of their brain.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they have to do it every time they have a feeling.
And you should, the first year I was sober, my sponsor said, hey, eat whatever you want, do whatever it takes. He says, I smoked, Marlboros, no filters. I did whatever. And so for the first year, I gained about 80 pounds, but I was sober.
Right.
I didn't drink or use, and then the second year I started working on that.
Right.
And, that's something I work on now.
It's hard not to eat when you got a bunch of money now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Especially, you think, what do you got to live for if you can't eat?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure when you had a lot of years where you're struggling,
right,
and it was pretty much macaroni and cheese for the fourth night in a row, and you could do without.
But you could still stay fat doing that. Trust me. There's a lot of fat, poor people out there.
It is true. I'm always amazed by that. I think it's that surplus cheese.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go to the phones, and Tom, you just jump in. You know how the show goes. Have a good time, and we'll get more into you as we move on. Kyle, 23.
Hi.
Hey.
Tom, you stole the show on True Lies and 9 Months.
Oh,
I just
thanks.
wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I second that.
And Adam.
Yes.
I wanted to let you know it's high time we had somebody in the media who's going to step up as a spokesperson for masturbation. Going on 10 proud years of it, and I think that, you know how they give people like their silver wedding and their golden wedding anniversary? Right. They ought to come up with something like that for masturbators. Do you agree?
Yeah.
It'd be a great thing.
I was a nominee for the Silver Hamper medallion last 3 years running. I lost out, but yeah, there should be some sort of plaque with a bullseye on it.
Not a ring, because that would hurt. Yeah, something.
you put on your other hand.
The thing about it is, you talked about replacing addictions. Obviously, there's a lot of sex addicts out there, and that's a temptation, absolutely, for everybody that is sober or tries to get sober or whatever. I mean, that's a killer too.
That's right.
But I find that the masturbation thing. You're on the road. You're doing a movie out of the country for 3-4 months at a time, and if you got a good tape and you get you out of a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's like packing your girlfriend.
And I've got,
I mean,
two of them
to travel.
See, I like the two women together.
Kyle.
One last quick comment on the masturbation thing. I want to open up the Masturbatorium, a place where
all right, Kyle.
of the world can get together and not spread disease.
You have a little too
well, you start that. You get a license for it and see how it does. If
he's got a little extra time on his hands.
Yeah.
What'd you call about?
Clean up aisle 5.
I've been around the block a few times. I'm 23, and I know what I don't want out of dating relationships, and I was wanting to get from you, mainly Dr. Drew, since you see all these weird people, maybe some key things to look out for when I have a prospective girlfriend.
Yeah, have you chosen bad people in the past? Is that what happens?
It sure.
And I don't mean bad, but I mean relationships that end up bad.
No,
Are you masturbating right now? That's just. Is he?
No,
Okay.
I think I wore myself out. I'm going to take a night off.
Do you have any history of abuse? Have you lived through that?
Absolutely not.
No
but
abuse. Do you tend to choose people who are from that history?
Well, I get a lot of girls with babies, and I think it's never been a good thing for me.
Is there any alcoholism or addiction in your family?
No.
Okay. Thing to watch out for is chaos and drama. People who thrive on that and need that usually are using that as some form of reaction to something not healthy.
And if you're attracted to them, that's trouble.
To the drama part?
Well, I just mean if your compass is sort of screwed up in relationships, if you're really attracted to someone, chances are they're screwed up because that's what attracts you to them.
But he hasn't, in that little cursory interview we did, we didn't find out that he has something that typically causes an abnormal compass.
Right, but I mean...
I'm the healthiest guy in the world.
Yeah, but sometimes
you're not that healthy, or you wouldn't be chasing after screwed up women.
All kinds of subtle things when you're growing up: over-involved parents, under-involved parents, aggression on the part of all kinds of things that are not overt abuse.
Guys like to be the hero, If a woman has a kid and she's on her own, you like to come in there and be the hero. And if you could do that, that's the greatest thing in the world. Be a step parent. But if you can't, if it's
But you see, if you need to do that, it's because you don't feel good about yourself. Right. You got to come in and have a project to validate your own self-worth, and that's not a good relationship.
And I've never dated a woman who had a child, but I'm guessing they're a little more receptive. What I mean is they're a little more enthusiastic about dating. You know what I'm saying? As a single mother. Because it is stigmatized in this society. Too. If you're a young woman, 19, 20, you have a 2-year-old, you're going to tend to sort of broaden your dating spectrum just a little bit more.
You might be more cautious because you're really looking for somebody who's good for the child.
Jesus Christ, Drew.
You see Jerry Maguire? Yeah. That's the same thing.
There you go.
All right. Drew, what are you? Is this like point, counterpoint? You know I'm right here.
We're just trying Tom out tonight to see if he'll make a good replacement.
Melissa, 15.
Hi. My boyfriend, touches me in places that make me feel uncomfortable and scared and stuff when we're on dates.
What do you tell him?
Well, I tell him to stop, and he calls me, a baby and says I'm just, wimping out and stuff.
So he demeans you. He makes you feel bad about yourself.
How old is he?
He's 17.
Uh-huh. And how long have you been going out with him?
About a month.
But he's your boyfriend?
Yeah.
And why'd you make him your boyfriend if he is up to this?
Well, he didn't do that at first.
Uh-huh.
He's been doing it, the past, week. Or 2 weeks, I guess.
How much have you done with him physically?
We've kissed a couple times, but we haven't, done anything, but he just tries touching me and stuff, and if I break up with him, I'm afraid he'll, come after me or something.
What do you mean come after you?
I don't know, it's just, he'll, start stalking me or something.
No, the fact that he wants to touch you doesn't mean that he necessarily is a stalker. Did you have somebody violate you when you were younger in some way? Or?
No.
No, you haven't been physically struck or anything like that. No, guys will do this, okay? This is what they'll do. And your job is to learn how to say no, okay? And how to stand up for yourself and how not to be in situations where you have difficulty saying no.
Okay.
If this really makes you feel bad, you must learn to stand up for yourself because it's what's right for you.
What's he do when you say no?
He demeans her and tells her.
Yeah, I know, but does he stop?
No.
You see, it's illegal to do that, by the way.
So, I mean, does he essentially rape you?
Well, not really.
But he doesn't stop.
No.
I mean, if you physically try to get away from him, what would he do?
Probably like grab me or something.
All right, so this guy's an abuser.
In some fashion, yeah. I mean, at least it makes you feel like you could be victimized by him.
Yeah, Melissa, pardon me, but you sound real naive and maybe even, I know you're only 15, but you sound even younger than that. Did you sure nothing happened to you along the way?
No.
You just haven't had any boyfriends before this guy?
Not really.
Okay, this just seems, Drew, do you think there's something up here?
Well, it may just be that she's been sheltered. I mean, it doesn't, I wondered if there was something up because she did choose this guy. But
why do you like the guy?
Well, I don't anymore. At first.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
see how healthy she is. Here's the deal. If he does,
I've never seen Drew so excited. You scared me, Drew.
If he is not concerned about how you feel, Melissa, if what he's doing makes you feel bad and that doesn't matter to him, hell with him. Right?
I just thought I'd let you carry the show for an eighth of a second. Macy, 15. Can you believe we get paid the same amount, Tom?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, boy. Oh, that would really be it if I found out he made more. Oh, Macy, 15.
Hi, guys. I just want to say, Dr. Drew, how do you put up with Adam all the time?
It's work. It's a job.
Okay, my question is that I've never really had a boyfriend, and I'm a virgin and everything, but I met this guy in school, like, 2 years ago almost, and ever since I met him, I've been, like, really almost obsessive. Like, I've never been sexually attracted to anybody except him before, and he's, like, totally not interested.
How old is he?
He's 17 right now.
And he's not interested.
No.
All right, get over it.
No.
Move on.
She won't. Of course she won't. But it's also normal and age appropriate to be obsessed. And at least it's not, somebody completely.
Right.
You should hook up with the guy, the last caller's guy, and reverse.
Yeah, he's 17. Yeah, wasn't like when I was 15 and into Susan Anton pretty heavily. It's not that far out of the realm of possibilities.
She's still pretty hot.
Oh, I know. I was no idiot even back then. All right, so he's not interested in you.
I don't think so.
Have you checked it out?
No.
He's 17.
Well, why not?
Because, well, like, we kind of avoid each other because he used to like me a lot, and he used to, like, crush me, and it scared me because I was really scared of guys.
Oh, well, if he used to like you, that's something.
And then, but he got over me because I was so scared of him. I was, like, running away from him constantly. I was like, stay away from me. And then he got over me, and ever since then I've been, like, really attracted to him.
You wonder why this country's in so much trouble. All right, Macy, why don't you just go and apologize? Tell him, hormones have set in.
No, don't offer. Just ask him out for coffee or something.
Yeah.
And see if he wants to go out.
Just go up to him and, as a matter of fact, let me talk to him. You have his phone number?
I don't. He's
All right.
out of town.
All right.
He's in New York.
Okay, listen, go up to him and say the following, Macy.
Okay.
I know we've had our differences in the past, and I'd like to bury the hatchet by buying you a cup of coffee.
Okay.
All right?
That sounds like something a 15-year-old would say.
Yeah.
That's why I told her to repeat after me.
You have kids, don't you?
No, I had stepkids for 5 years.
Do you still have a relationship with them?
No, that was something that the lawyers and the mother didn't want to.
Really?
Yeah.
Did the kids want to have a continued relationship?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We had a good one. I mean, that was probably the hardest thing.
Really?
So, I mean, you fought to have visitation rights?
Well, I would have liked to have had a relationship, to continue to talk to them. And one of them called me, and then we had a little reconciliation at one time, and the kids, it was great. The kids were, they're like, well, at least you guys are being adults, so it's great, and, but,
So important to the kids to have that sustained relationship.
Yeah, well, they're great kids.
How old are Roseanne's kids?
I suppose now, well, she has I think a 24, 25-year-old, and then the other kids are maybe 22, 20, and 17.
But they're mostly adults.
Yeah,
I mean, certainly lawyers cannot dictate whether they keep in touch with somebody.
You got to respect what your mom wants you to do.
But isn't it? I mean, was that just sour grapes? I mean, was she just, at least in your opinion, just sort of punishing you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that's what it sounds like to me. It's really sad that things have to get this far in life.
Yeah.
It's amazing that, and I'm sure nobody will back me up on this more than you, but it's amazing that the person, at least I've never been divorced, I've never been married, but I hear stories. Mm-hmm. I know my own parents. People that were so in love that they decided to share a house together, get a joint checking account, and screw every third night, now hate each other more than Stalin hated Mussolini. I mean, how does that, you know what I mean? It's quite ironic.
It could go one day be one way, and the next day be totally opposite. Like, boy, hell hath no fury.
Right. There's a person when you look back on your life in your deathbed, there's a person that you were terribly in love with, that you lived with, that you married, and then there's a person who became your arch enemy, in a bitterly disputed everything with them, and that was the same person.
Love and hate are closely aligned emotions. And it's throwbacks to our early development and how we feel about our parents and ourselves.
All right, Dr. Freud.
Some people are better at it than others.
About being hateful?
About turning. Turning. It would be hard for me. I've never been able to do it because of it's an unnatural thing.
To do what?
To go from loving somebody to hating them.
You're not good at like vendettas.
Well, people that really do that with great alacrity usually have particular kinds of personality issues.
That's very well put, Drew. All right, that's why he's the doctor, and he gets paid $10 to every dollar I make.
Oh yes,
at least if you break it down into syllables. All right. When we come back, Drew, sell the hell out of the next call. It's the least you could do.
A 13-year-old question about yeast infections.
All right. Come up with something better than that.
All right. Here's one for you, Adam. I want your opinion. This is Mark. He's getting involved with a stripper.
All right. Now we're talking. All right. We're here with Tom Arnold, Dr. Drew, myself, Adam Carolla. The show is LoveLine. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. And that's enough. The Tom Show on the WB Network, starting up Sundays, first week in September. Coming up just a few short months away. And we're talking about freeways. And we're all fast drivers. I think you can be a safe driver and a fast driver, but it always pisses you off when there's some guy in front of you that's holding you up.
Right.
And my take on the thing is this. The speed limit should be sort of a floating thing, depending on a few elements. And one of them is the car that you're driving. I mean, if you got some guy and he's driving a 72 Subaru Justy with 3.5 cylinders, and he's got
never heard of that
90 series, he's got shopping cart tires on it, and the back is he does a little gardening on the weekend, so the back is loaded with manure. And he's going 75. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
With Tom Arnold over here driving the Callaway Vet with the tires that cost more than the guy's Justy, just one of them that are speed rated by some kraut for 215 miles an hour and speed sensitive steering. A car that's capable of 200 miles an hour. 75 is crawling.
Right. I don't think minivans should drive in the fast lane. I think a lot of times I come in on the 101, every day, and boy, I tell you, it's so frustrating. First of all, people get offended if you come up behind them, and they're in the fast lane, and they're driving 65 or 55 or 60. They have got to respect the fact that they've got to get the hell out of the way. They really do. That's what a lot of it slows us down.
By the way, most of the country does that. The fast lane is either passing or passing, going past everybody else.
And they get offended. But here's the way I look at it. You pretend in your mind, if nobody likes people coming up behind them, and they got to show you how it's done. You flash your lights, they don't do anything. Pretend that guy's on the way. He needs a liver transplant. He's on the way to the hospital. He's been beeped. Then maybe you'll be able to move over, or some sort of emergency situation. Just pretend that, because that may be the case, and then get over. I don't care about people. I don't care how slow they drive in the slow lane, but just gauge it.
Right.
And just stay out of the way. And that also helps for you getting offended, and just, they'll slam on their brakes sometimes. Don't do that. They might need a liver or a heart transplant or something, I mean, that's how I'm trying to figure out a way for these people to accept the fact that somebody's going to go blow by them.
Meanwhile, Tom is speaking of his chauffeur honking the horn while he's getting oral pleasure in the back of the stretch. But either way, the man is in a rush. You know what my favorite thing to do is I hate it when I get behind somebody who will not turn right on a red. They're parked there. There's no traffic coming the other way. Or when someone's just pulling out of a supermarket parking lot and they're just parked there, and they're not going to pull out into the street unless Caltrans comes in and puts cones down and stops traffic. But here's the thing that's funny. It only works on a small percentage of the population, but it's always a good one. They will sit there and they will not budge. Even though there's no car in sight, they will not budge. And then traffic comes up, and then you give them a toot on the horn, and they will go flying out in front of a cement truck at that point, because people cannot stand to have you behind there knowing you're armed with that horn. All right, Tom Arnold is here, so is Dr. Drew, and it's was this the one you sold, Drew?
It's one of them.
I thought we were going to talk to Mark.
We'll do this one first, quick.
All right, Shanna, 13.
Hi.
Hey.
I was just wondering if it was common to have a yeast infection at the age of 13.
You had something like that?
Yeah, I've had like a bunch of them, actually.
And you had a doctor diagnose that that's what it was?
What?
Did you have a doctor look at you to make sure that's what it was?
No, but I have kind of the symptoms of them.
Are you sexually active?
No.
And did you use any of the over-the-counter creams or anything like that to treat it?
Well, I did once, but I only did it it was a 7-day treatment, but I only did once.
All right. If you don't treat it completely, it's going to come back.
All right.
Okay. So really, all you've had is one. It just hasn't been fully eradicated. And it's very common for women to start.
What is the earliest yeast infection on record, Drew? Do you know that?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but it's usually it can begin around puberty.
Isn't it time for the gynolotrimine minute or something where you go back in history?
They have a new product on the market. I watch the commercials. That's a 1-day treatment. Is it 3 days? And that's something too. And I'm not talking about this gal because she's a young kid, but I think women should be stocked up with stuff like that at home, and so it's not a surprise. Oh, I've got this. I guess I have to go to the store, because every day that goes by that they have this, that's a day that maybe you won't be able to be together romantically, and I think it hurts the relationship.
Right. You should go down to the Price Club, get a guy with a forklift and a 50-gallon tub of gynolotrimine.
Well, you should get stock up like in tampons. I mean, it's a common thing. It happens to my wife all the time. She has to go get some. We have what do you mean you got to go get some? If I knew every 30 days something was going to happen, I would go down to the Price Club. We've got tons of toilet paper there. I know I'm going to have to use the bathroom. Why is it like a shock? Oh, I'm sorry, we have to go over here at 7-Eleven real quick because I don't have anything. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Women buy tampons as if they're going to hit menopause any minute now. A 22-year-old woman could just buy them single, like you buy cigarettes at the counter of the 7-Eleven.
It's more the opposite, that they're in denial that this is happening and don't really want to deal with it.
That's great. We need a fourth guy in here to comment on why how women purchase tampons and what's wrong with it.
It's always amazes me how much young women, young teenage women particularly, are freaked out by things like yeast infections, which are common things. They're normal. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. If they are recurrent, certainly things like your blood sugar and your thyroid and your nutrition need to be assessed. But it now is easily treatable, over-the-counter medicines. They now have these ultra-rapid treatments, the Terrazole-type drugs and the monostats out there.
But it has to do with puberty, doesn't it?
That's about when it starts to happen. It can start happening around then, yes.
No, I am...
Do tight pants have anything, seriously? Those wearing nylons or something like that?
It's more about the bacterial makeup of what's going on in there, and things like antibiotics or having sexual relationships or changing nutrition, that sort of thing, activity.
I really know nothing about the vagina. To me, it is like Area 51, or what is that out at Roswell? Something's going on over there. I just
How old are you, and you don't know about the vagina?
I'm 33.
Well,
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. The vagina, to me, is like a grand piano. It's beautiful when it's tuned and waxed, but it can go bad, and it needs a lot of maintenance. Basically, I have a kazoo. It never sounds that great, but nothing goes wrong.
Are you gay?
I could be. If you got a spot
I mean,
on
the
the
way
show.
you're talking about the vagina, it sounds like that you're going. It's kind of icky sometimes. I think you should worship the vagina. I do.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes.
All right.
It's a wonderful thing. I mean, things happen there you can't even imagine, and we could never come up with.
Tom actually has a picture of his wife's vagina in his wallet.
I wish I did.
I wish you did too. All right. Mark, 40.
Yes, hi. I'm listening to you from 93 Rock out in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm dating a girl that works at the Embers erotic place that they have strippers and stuff like that there.
Uh-huh.
And her stage name is Utah, and the place she dances at Embers.
Uh-huh.
And
what's that on the corner of, Mark?
no, thank you.
Okay. And
anyway, she became a big fan because she couldn't listen to the show, and so I recorded stuff. So she's hearing this. She'll be hearing this. And we only got I've been seeing her since '93 for 5 years, and I've heard your situation with the girl. Was she from England?
Yeah. That was Catlin, my stripper girlfriend.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of the what Drew says, the bad advice that most strippers hate men.
It's a love-hate thing.
I just wanted. I can't see this, although that I expressed my feelings a long time. It took her 5 years to say anything, strongly, and that worried me quite a bit.
Mark, is it a totally nude place or is it just topless?
It's no, it's not totally nude.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just topless.
Lap dancing, is there touching and stuff like that?
A little bit, yeah.
Uh-huh. And how old is she, Mark?
She's 3 years younger than I am.
Okay. So she's getting ready to hang up the G-string. Most strippers don't make it that far into their 30s.
Yeah, like I said, she's a big fan. In fact, she has big breasts like you, that you mentioned that you like.
All
in
right.
fact,
Mark.
she just recently sent you her photo, and she's been.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
All right.
Mark,
let's dig it out, man.
Mark, the deal is people that choose this sort of vocation very often come from abusive past, particularly at the hands of men. And having to do this in front of men doesn't make them feel that much better about men. In fact, it makes them loathe men typically, and they tend to get in abusive relationships that are rather chaotic, and that's just the pattern that's associated with having been sexually abused and choosing this sort of vocation.
It's like what you said about TV stars, female TV stars that
Right.
come from these, but it's that type of performing. I mean, I can't certainly say that I could judge someone who was a stripper, male, female, after I've done years and years of stand-up comedy. I don't know what's worse. Seriously, I mean, it's a very...
I would suspect the ultimate would be doing a 3-minute set while you're nude.
Right. That takes confidence.
Live nude comics.
This is a brilliant idea, except for I don't want to see any comedians naked that I can think of, except for maybe Margaret Cho, but that's just for novelty.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted her to hear Drew's opinion of the people that work.
I'm not disparaging anybody. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily a healthy acting out of things that happen to people. It tends to perpetuate the stuckness.
Here's the deal on this show. We play the odds. Not every female stand-up comedian is a nutcase. Most of them are, but not everyone. Mm-hmm. Not every stripper hates her dad and loathes men, but most of them are. Not every attorney is an a-hole. Oh, no, wait a minute. They all are. That's right. All right, that's the one thing. I forgot.
That's true. That's very true.
We can all agree on that. All right, we got to go to break. More LoveLine with Tom Arnold after this.
And you're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. Mahalo.
Was he? Were you giving CPR right after that?
That was Don Ho. Yeah. Drew came in here with the crash cart and the paddles and the lactate ringers and D5W and stat and brought Don back to life. There's a man who's probably smoked half of Molokai. He, we're talking about pot with Don Ho, and he didn't really he didn't really sidestep the issue.
No, he knew a lot about it.
Yeah, they do in Hawaii. They like that. That's what they do.
He and look at them. This is a role model society. A lot of guys wearing towels, hanging out on the beach, paddling and body surfing and eating the whole pig, not just the bacony part, but the head, eyeballs, everything. You ever been to one of those luau's?
No.
Tom, I know. Tom, I just saw you on hard copy. No. Kerna.
Could be any of them.
One of those things. No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Oh, okay then.
You were judging or hosting or judging or both the Miss Tropicana.
Oh yes, I did that last fall. Hawaiian Tropic. I got the opportunity to go to Hawaii and to play golf, and although I don't play, but to judge one of these contests, it was an incredible experience, and I think you should try it sometime.
All right, so let me just tell me if I'm wrong about any aspect.
Okay,
of this.
Are you nominating Adam for that job?
I think he'd be great.
He needs a successor to the throne.
He may be able to.
I can sweet call Ron Rice. He'll hook you right up.
Is he the guy who runs Hawaiian Tropic?
Yes, he's the creator. He created it in his garage.
Right.
Really?
Right. Now he's having sex with the women in the garage. All right.
No, he does. I don't think he has sex with those guys. He has like his gal that's really good looking,
Oh, I mean, I could only imagine. And this guy looks like the guy from Far Out Space Nuts, Chuck McCann. Do you remember Chuck McCann?
No, but I think he reminds me of Barney Rubble. A little bit. Great big tall one.
Chuck McCann is the guy who used to do that old commercial for the deodorant where the guy would open the medicine cabinet and he'd say, "Hi, guy."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So here's what Tom has to do. They pay you a bunch of money, I'm sure.
No.
It's all free.
Oh, there's some sort of an honorarium deal.
Right.
But,
well, you sell the jag they give you. Whatever it is, you get some money. They fly out to Hawaii. You hang out with 50 of the most beautiful women in the world. You shoot a round of golf with James Brolin.
Right.
And then it's back to the States with a nice tan, a couple of new cigars, and a big fat wallet.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like that. Some of the guys, they have regular judges that are like come to all of them, and they know all the gals. And they have, they're the inside guys, whatever. And I was
Who are these regular judges? I would like to get on this circuit. Is it guys like Denny Terrio and Adrian Zmed?
No. It's guys like, I know Jerry Buss goes to a lot of them, and that's how he recruits Laker girls and so forth. And, there's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of guys that go and do it. There's also, it was great. They had a woman and a lot of the guys were bummed out about this, but there's a very nice lady who has AIDS. Who had sex with Tim Richmond, the race car driver, one time. He was the guy that got AIDS.
Do you know this story?
No.
Go want to tell it?
You could. Well, he had this race car driver had AIDS, and he went and had sex with a lot of people, even after he knew it, and killed some of them. And this lady is a friend of mine, and she got it, and she very nice gal, and she gave a speech to all the girls about AIDS and condoms and everything the night before this thing started. So all the guys are all bummed out,
hotel. I mean,
it rained the whole time.
Where was it?
It was in somewhere on Big Island.
But I was thinking to myself when I was driving in with this thought in my head about seeing Tom on the show that I think I'm at the point in my career, and this is quite frankly why I got into radio. That I should embark on some of these projects. It doesn't have to be Hawaiian Tropic. It could be Miss Paba, whatever it is. I want to get involved with some of these.
Try it once. Try it once. I mean, first of all, you sit there and you're supposed to judge these women on their appearance, and I thought they all, I'm from Iowa, man. They all look great. And so, and how do you? It's so hard. I can't imagine the poise or whatever it would take to walk down with a little bikini and have people look at you and judge you on your body. I mean, that's something I don't know anything about. I could not do it. I got a lot of respect for them.
I'm guessing most of them would prefer that rather than you have them recite some literature or something.
Well, they
like
do
that.
speak.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they answer a couple questions.
I see they get minus points for that. This one talked.
Yeah, well, see, God doesn't work that way. He doesn't give somebody everything.
No, we would have to kill them. Dana, 16.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey. Adam?
Yeah.
I love you, Adam.
Love you.
Is Dr. Drew there?
I'm here. What's up?
Dr. Drew?
Yeah.
I think I may have HIV.
Why?
My boyfriend, who is about 20, His ex-girlfriend told him that she had HIV. And
How did you find that out?
About 3 months ago, when I was going out with him, he was telling me how she was calling and they were trying to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, he goes up to me and he tells me, I have to talk to you. And he says, well, Lori, she says she may have HIV.
She may have HIV.
Yes. She said she did, definitely.
Now she knows she does.
Definitely, supposedly.
What about him?
About him, he didn't care. I mean, we were going out, and he told me if he had HIV, he'd kill himself.
But has he been tested? Has he figured it out?
No, he hasn't, and I haven't talked to him in about maybe a month.
So because of this, you ended the relationship?
Not because of this. It was different.
Kept leaving the toilet seat down.
Why did the relationship end?
The relationship ended when he called me a fat bitch.
So this guy sounds pretty creepy, right?
Well,
he doesn't care. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about himself. He's going to kill himself. I mean,
what happened
so the
was-
reliability of the story already is kind of suspect.
Okay, this is what happened. I never had sex before, and we started going out, and I did have sex with him.
More than once?
Yes.
Did he wear a condom?
No.
Okay.
Did you have sex after you heard about his ex-girlfriend?
Yes, and I regret it.
You had unprotected sex with him after you heard that his ex-girlfriend was HIV positive?
He told me it wasn't true, because he called her.
Okay.
And, she called him, and, she was telling him, yeah, I have HIV, and she's a liar.
How is it
supposedly.
that she's supposed to have contracted it?
She cheated on him with some other guy.
Uh-huh.
And supposedly she got HIV from him, so she called him.
All right, have you been tested?
No, I haven't. I don't know what to do.
How long ago was your last contact with this guy?
About a month ago, in May.
Have you had any kind of flu-like syndromes, any high fever, sore throats, anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Sometimes if people are getting the infection, when the acute viral infection occurs, there can be a sort of a mononucleosis-like syndrome, and that's when the antibody typically becomes detectable.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody necessarily gets that syndrome, but not having had that certainly is reassuring.
But let me say this. You got to get tested, and we don't want to minimalize your plight, but it doesn't sound...
Yeah, it sounds suspect.
We've heard more dangerous scenarios.
Right.
I know it's you we're talking about, and even if there's a 0.5% chance, you want to be concerned and you want to go get checked.
I definitely do.
Get tested now and get tested again in 6 months. I do suggest you either go to a doctor or a test site where you can get the pre-testing counseling, because it sounds like you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. And I wouldn't recommend you go to the pharmacy and just get the cheek membrane test. There's stuff you can do blood and cheek saliva test now yourself.
Right.
And send that in, because I think you need some counseling here. And then most test sites who are doing it responsibly will have a good deal of information to give you and hopefully settle you down a little bit about that.
It's ironic that was not the reason they broke up.
Yeah, we could have done a lot of things with this young lady.
Yeah. There will be gambling before the night is through. Tom, I hope you have something in your billfold.
Oh, great. The thing is, that gal should go sign up tomorrow to get tested, just so she can sleep.
Absolutely.
Get it over with.
It'll be negative. And then again, it'll have to be done again in about 5 months, though.
Megan.
Hello?
Hey, you're 16.
Yeah. I live across the road from my stepfather and with my grandparents. And a while ago, I guess it was, that he broke into the house and left in my room like a Hustler magazine, $20 bill, some flowers, and a note.
What did the note say?
I didn't read it. I brought it straight to my grandparents.
Good instinct.
Wow. You get the Caller of the Night award, Megan.
I gave him the money, too.
Oh, all right. Well, now you're losing points. What kind of history have you had with this guy?
For the longest time, I thought he seemed so nice. He was, very nice to me. We talked a lot. I mean,
how old is he?
What?
How old is he?
I don't know. He's 40.
Does he do drugs or alcohol?
He drinks.
Yeah. It sounds like kind of a...
A while ago, before this, when I was 10 or not 10, but 12 or 13, he used to give me lingerie. And
Mm.
I don't know, it didn't bother me that much because he didn't say anything about it. He just gave it to me. And then he wouldn't say anything about it after that.
Where's your real dad?
Don't know.
Where's your mom?
She's gone. She went away.
Where's your mom?
She lives in another state right now.
Why'd she go away?
I have to live with a friend. I've like always lived with my grandparents because of like problems with alcohol.
Okay, so your mom's an addict alcoholic too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and this guy, in all likelihood, is as well.
Hopefully, your grandparents are sober enough to, maybe alert the proper authorities here, or at least.
That's the problem.
What?
They accused me of being with him.
Oh my God.
All right. You're coming out here to live with Tom.
That's right. I got plenty of room.
There will be some atrocities at Tom's house, but they will pale in comparison
They're
to
eating,
this.
mostly bad eating.
Yeah, it's the sort that Elvis's guests got.
Yes.
A lot of fried food.
That's true.
And bad cable TV on a theater-sized screen. Megan, you're 16. Here's your job. Your job is to try to remain sane until you can get out of that environment.
Yeah.
I know, because everybody around you is effed up. And unfortunately, you drag the kids down. I don't have to. We talk about this every night, but your job is to see if you can escape that environment with some shred of sanity so that you can go out on your own and not recreate this horrible situation by getting pregnant, by getting into substance abuse and alcohol and whatnot. Or how you doing with guys?
I have a lot of boyfriends.
Oh, you do?
I mean, just one now, but,
All right. You haven't protected sex?
I don't have sex.
Oh, you don't?
There we go.
Well, that's good.
She still is the call of the night.
All right.
And it sounds like she's living with the least effed up part of her family.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, as compared to
the most.
Yeah.
All right, Megan. I'll tell you what. We're going to put you on hold. We're running late for break, and we'll wrap it up with you when we come back. All right?
Okay.
All right. Stay put.
Meanwhile, as the faceless evil closes in on the hapless, sleeping populace across town.
All right, it is LoveLine. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. We're here with Dr. Drew, myself, Adam Carolla, and Tom Arnold, and Dr. Drew's pager. I also would like to thank the great Diamond Limousine for getting Tom here.
That was no
one
limousine,
piece.
my friend. That was a sedan.
Oh, it was a...
but it was a good driver. I liked him.
It was a town car.
Yes, it was a town car and a nice driver, I believe, from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And
a foreign driver?
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
No idea that even existed in this country.
Oh, it does.
And but they call themselves a limo service. I think whenever you cart somebody around, it is a limo. Or at least you run a limo service. But I want to talk about your sperm for just one moment here. We'll transition into that. We were talking a couple of breaks ago. Drew was showing pictures of the lovely triplets, and you were talking about starting a family with your new wife.
Yes, I've never had children of my own.
Now, Drew did the in vitro thing.
Right.
And was something wrong with you, Drew?
No.
No. It was Susan.
Mm-hmm.
And but Tom, you mentioned that you had a low sperm
There's something
count.
wrong with me, yes.
Now, what is up with that?
Well, I don't, it could be for many reasons, but I've had a low sperm count since I started counting them. When I was in college, I went to my roommates and I went down to donate sperm to get $35. We were going to do that to help pay our, partying money. And I was rejected for a low sperm count at that time, and I just thought it was because I hadn't waited the 72 hours before.
Oh, is that what they asked for?
Yeah, that's a lot to ask.
Well, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, that was.
I coincidentally donated some sperm out in North Hollywood, but it cost me $35. So
exactly.
Well,
that's a good deal. No, that's a good deal.
Oh, okay.
And but my first wife and I, we tried to have kids and actually went as far as having the egg fertilized and put in. Actually, we tried with my former sister-in-law, who was younger, was going to carry the kids. It didn't work. But
this is so. Are you on your? Is this your third marriage?
No, this
now?
is my second marriage.
Oh,
and,
first wife, Roseanne.
Yes.
Okay.
And with Julie's, my wife just turned 24, and we said we'd wait a couple years. We've been together 3 years, but married for 2. And so now, I'm 38. I want kids because I'd like to be a grandfather even one day.
Right.
And so, hopefully the end of the summer. Now, we have to do something even better than in vitro. We have to do something called the GIFT program, which they basically have a needle that will take one sperm, and it doesn't even have to be moving, and implant that directly into the egg, and then get her going, and then put her back inside my wife.
How do they harvest that egg, Drew?
You know how they do that?
Yes, they do. They used to do it by laparoscopy. They take it from the uterus now.
Well, yeah, but they have to hyperstimulate the ovaries.
Well, yes, that's true. That's the bad part. The shots,
and
that's where I come in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they take a long needle, which is sort of curved at about a 60-degree angle, and they go through the wall of the vagina and suck the eggs out of the ovaries.
But they numb you up or something. I mean, you're going to scare my wife.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but they numb you. It's better than it used to be. I mean, it's not easy. Yes, and it is my fault.
Right.
But,
as long as you blame yourself. And they take then the egg out. How big is the egg at that point,
They take
Drew?
the follicles. They create these sort of super eggs, super follicles, and the egg itself is still a single cell. But the follicle's pretty.
But they take several.
They take as many as they can get. They try to get at least 6.
And they put them in like a petri dish, and then they take Tom's lethargic sperm, and they actually
induce it. They entice it.
They goose it. Go on. Like when you're trying to train a dog, and you just put a doggy door in the kitchen door, and you want to get them to use it. Is it that kind of thing where you put like the bowl on the other side? And
no, it'd be like if you took the dog by the butt and rammed him through the door. I mean, that's what it's like. You put the thing into the. You can actually see the needle go in there if you have a microscope or something.
And then once the sperm is safely inside the cocoon of the egg, then the egg is re-ingested into the woman by they just put it in a thing of Gatorade and she downs it, or how they get it back in?
They little pipette and they inject it. It depending what kind of procedure they're doing. Sometimes they put it in the fallopian tube. Sometimes they put it right into the uterus.
And now you're pregnant, or do you have to sort of
you
wait?
Have to wait and see. And they try at least we were involved with this. They try to put 5 fertilized eggs, 5 embryos in, because that increases the likelihood.
Who is your doctor, by the way?
Of one taking.
Or do you
Pasadena Fertility Group?
Okay.
Serafini. Very good. There's so much good fertility.
Dr. Mars is a
tremendous.
I've read his book.
Yeah, and that's where these guys started. Was with Mars.
Yeah. Oh, okay, got it.
All right. So there's a real good shot of this working out.
I hope so.
And how much does this stuff cost? By the way, it's not covered by a health plan, is it?
Sometimes. Ours was.
It is?
Sometimes.
What kind of crap is that? This is why my premiums as a single guy, I go in there with a sprained ankle once a year, and I'm paying for you guys who are breaking new ground.
No, you've got the K-Rock plan.
Oh, I do?
You're not paying for money.
Let me tell you what's the problem with our health plan. Everyone in radio is a drug addict. So,
right, that's true.
After everyone went through rehab for their 8th time, they just got rid of whatever good health care they had, and now we're all on the Dr. Bombay health plan. We actually have to summon the doctor. Sometimes he appears, sometimes he doesn't. He's usually drunk.
Well, it's an emotional thing, too. I mean, I have been through it a little bit where you're hoping, and then your wife has to take these shots, and when you put more extra hormones into somebody, who knows what's going to happen, and it's hard for her. And then in my case, it's a matter of convincing your wife is a good idea, you know, and even though it's something we discussed before we got married, but a younger person, they want to live a little bit. They think that's going to stop their, if they want to have a career or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, my job is to convince her that's absolutely not true.
Any way you slice this, she's going to resent the hell out of you.
Yeah, but then I'll have my kid.
Right. All right.
Then she'll turn on me and take the kid. You know how ugly it
gets. Jennifer, 20.
Hi.
Hey. We're just charting Tom's career.
Oh, I know. At least
Oh, wait. Let's finish with.
That's right. Hold on a second. Who was that, Drew? That was Megan. Yes. So Megan.
Yeah.
You're 16. Your drunken stepfather who lives across the street, and it.
There anymore. He's moved out, but I have nightmares still.
All right, but he came by your grandparents' house, who you're living with, dropped off a Hustler, $20, and flowers, and some flowers.
It must be very difficult for you to feel secure anywhere with the kind of family system you live among.
How did he get in there?
We don't know. I mean, the curtains were messed up, so I guess he got in through the window.
Well, and the grandparents blame Megan for inviting him in. I mean, it's just.
And this is the same guy who bought her lingerie when he was when she was 13.
How can she's been violated in some way. Really, it's like any other kind of break and entry, even if it's not in this kind of overt way. People feel violated if somebody's come into their house, and here the people with whom she is relying upon to feel secure are blaming her for the entry.
Right.
Very, very, very tough.
Whose parents are these grandparents? Your mother's? Your mom's?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the
raised her property.
acorn don't fall too far from the tree. Yeah.
And like, I mean, this isn't the first time stuff has like happened. They blame me. My medicine was stolen one time.
What kind of medication you on?
Ritalin, because I have ADHD and
I have that
depression.
too. I took that for many years.
My Ritalin was being stolen, and they kept
let me just give you a warning. Just to sidetrack for a second. I have I'm sorry for people that actually have this disorder, but the people that have ADHD over the age of 20 have I prefer to call it alcoholism, because that's really what it is. So be careful, Megan. You may be predisposed to addiction.
Okay. But it got stolen. It was only stolen when they left and I'd be home alone.
Right.
And I guess he was the one who did it.
Well, we've already speculated he's an alcoholic.
He's already on our drunken a-hole list, which is on the back of the a-hole list.
He may be abusing her Ritalin.
Tom, you're on the back too.
Yeah, thanks.
You saw that. All right, so Megan, I would alert the authorities. I mean, if your grandparents aren't going to do anything, you should do something. I mean, you have to document this kind of stuff, because if it then happens again, you have a case now, and guys like this need to be locked up. And we talk about this all the time, but it just makes me sick when these women pick one bad guy to have the kid with, and then he goes south, and then they bring a predator into the environment. I mean, here you are, single mom, living with a couple of 8-year-old girls, and you're bringing in this guy who's a drunken pedophile to keep an eye on the kids while I work the graveyard shift over at the A&P. This is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. We get these calls all the time. It's the stepdad who's up to no good. And I blame the stepdads, but moms, you got to do a little better job out there. Don't bring criminals into the house. All right.
But it's not all stepdads, obviously. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of biological dads who molest, too. That's right. I got your point.
And moms, too. Moms do that, too, you know.
Yeah.
Not as much.
They have their own form of passive abuse, but it's not that overt physical stuff. Jennifer.
Not usually, but it does happen. It does happen. Trust me.
Yeah. Is your mom?
No, but she wasn't around. But I know it does from people I know.
Okay. Jennifer, 20.
Hi. Okay, I got a question. I just started diet pills about 2 weeks ago. And my boobs hurt real bad. And they went from probably a 36B, and I'm now a 36D.
Really? 2 weeks?
Uh-huh.
This they should put something else on the label.
What medication?
Redux.
And have they been working? Have you been losing weight?
Yeah, I've lost about 13 pounds.
Are you lactating at all?
No.
Don't be surprised if that happens. I bet that's what's going on here.
What's going on? This sounds like a wonder drug to me.
No, it could be.
Your ass gets smaller and your chest gets bigger.
It can raise your prolactin levels and may actually cause breast milk production.
Is that bad?
They hurt bad. Can't wear a shirt.
Yeah, I bet that's what's starting to happen. You really got to talk to the doctor soon that's prescribing this for you. Redux is interesting medicine. It is probably pretty good for weight reduction, but there's lots of concerns about it. And certainly most of the serious side effects people see after the use of 3 months or longer.
Do you exercise too?
Yes.
That's good.
How overweight were you?
I weighed 176.
I hope are you over 5'4", 5'2" or so?
Yeah.
You're not really in the range that should be using diet pills, especially.
Well, it depends where you live. If you're in L.A.
Yeah, in Iowa, they'd be wanting you to eat more.
Yeah, hey.
How can you gain weight?
Yeah.
Some kind of super shake.
Hey, Bean Paul, over here now.
Seriously, I mean, it's it's different.
Where do you live, Jennifer?
California.
All right, that's bad. Did you try dieting and exercise and all that?
Yeah.
And how big's your mom?
She's 5'3".
Now, how big is she?
I think she's 126.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, kick your dad in the nuts for me. It's got to be him.
Yeah.
The dieting and all that didn't work. I just the idea of taking a pill to do anything
at young age,
especially at 20, it's I think it's just like the worst of possible message you could send to your brain.
Well, my mom put me on it because she's totally concerned. She thinks I'm just totally overweight.
You're 20, Jennifer. You're 20.
You tell your mom the reason you're overweight is because she's been a little too concerned for a little too long, and it's manifesting itself in compulsive eating. Am I right, Tom?
You're absolutely right.
Did you have an eating disorder when you were younger?
No.
No.
Is your mom overbearing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still living at home?
Yes.
Why?
Don't have enough money to move out yet?
Are you going to junior college?
Yes.
Okay. I can smell the junior college. I can.
Yeah.
You're never going to a 4-year university. Let me tell you that right now. You might get the AA, but that will be as far as you get. Get a job, make some money, and get the hell out of that house, because your mother's domineering mothering is what is the biggest problem in your eating disorder. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, your mom rides you, you get depressed, and then you eat.
No, I don't eat that much.
Well, we got to do some math here. What's going on?
Maybe you eat badly. What you do eat is not good.
No, I eat good. It's just we don't know why I wouldn't lose the weight. I just put it on, and I eat healthy. I mean, we all eat good, and then, like, I don't go out that much, and when I do, I just eat, like, a salad or grilled chicken or something.
So you just have a slow metabolism.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Hey, listen, that is the way it works. I mean, there's some people that, obviously, you know them, they make you sick.
Yeah.
They eat whatever they want, they never put on a pound, and then there's some people that just inhale and their hips get wider.
Most people, in order to lose weight, you have to be very hungry all the time, most of the time, to really lose weight. If you're really going to lose, I mean, with just keep your weight off, you can learn to eat right one night. But if you're going to lose weight, you know, it's not an easy thing.
All right, Jennifer?
Yep.
All right, and if you think about it, I'm sure the maker had no idea what society would turn into. I mean, in back in the day, you had to walk 8 miles just to get hold of a turkey leg or something. You had to hunt. I mean, you actually had to chase your food. So or either that or you're eating some weed that grew in the ground. Now the idea that you can take the Ford Explorer and drive it through the McDonald's, I mean, the fact is you never have to get out of your car. You get in the car, you drive through, you grab yourself.
They'll bring it to your face, too, man. You just call them up. You don't even have to get in the car.
Right.
That's a great thing.
Food will just come to you now. You never have to leave the TV set. I mean, I'm sure whoever designed the human couldn't have imagined this. There's no way he figured out buffalo wings. No way God had any way of knowing about, like, buffalo wings and Thousand Island dressing. Is there anything in Scripture about Thousand Island, Drew?
No.
Okay. That's a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Bryce.
Yeah.
Hey, you're 15. You're on with Tom Arnold.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
You guys rule, man. I just have to say that.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, let's see. About 2 weeks ago, I had oral sex with this girl she lives like 4 miles away from New York. And now my girlfriend, she's coming back tomorrow. She was in Texas, and she's coming back, and I don't know if I should tell her or what. I don't know what to do. So.
Where's the girl from New York? Is she going back to New York?
No, she lives in New York. She lives on Long Island. So.
You don't see her regularly?
No, well, like, I'm supposed to see her this weekend or something.
So you plan to have a relationship with her?
She wants. Like,
Bryce, what do you want? What do you want, Bryce?
Bryce, where do you live?
I live in Maryland.
Do you want to have a new relationship, or do you want your old one?
I kind of want my old one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the girl I'm with she's really hot and all.
Oh yeah.
And she's really awesome, but she just at the time before she left, like 2 days before she left, she was really not really interested, and then before she left, she told me she loved me, and she'll miss me and all that. So.
What did you the oral sex? Did you perform that, or did?
No, the girl. She gave
No, that's not cheating.
Yeah,
man.
I don't even think women think that's cheating.
No.
Like, from what I've heard, they don't consider it sex. I know that.
Okay, well.
All right, Bryce, wait a minute. I'm just trying to do the math here. The girl lives 4 miles down the road. But she.
No, 4 hours.
Oh, 4 hours.
Yeah, she lives in New York.
All right. So, what were you doing out there?
Well, it's not out. See, it was like a camp thing.
Oh, okay. Everybody got laid. Everyone gets laid in camp but me. I swear to God, there's more sex going on in the wilderness. I hope the counselors and parents understand about this. Drew, understand, you will send your kids away to camp as children. They will come back as your young girl will come back a woman.
No.
Believe me, if the kids don't get her, one of the counselors will. If that, a rogue elk will get her.
Well, this kid, it sounds like this. The one gal is 4 hours away. At his age, it's just not going to work.
Right.
And his other gal, if he thinks, she said she loves him and he thinks there's hope, then my opinion is you don't tell her.
Right.
Don't do it anymore. I mean, you can't, just to get it off your conscience so you feel better, you can't hurt somebody else. I mean, that's my rule.
Tom is, that is the, you're at your best at night, Tom. I can tell you that right now, because this is the way I think. Here's what I would do, and I give this advice to everyone. Instead of feeling guilty and telling your partner, feel guilty and make that be the motivating factor for not doing it again.
Right, that's great.
Don't burden the person by laying it on them.
Unless you want the relationship to end.
Yeah.
And then end it.
Right.
And you don't even have to burden them with that. Just end it and just save that piece of pain for something else.
Right. All right, Drew, you have another call lined up there? We're just going to punch.
I thought we were going to...
Well, why don't we sell the next one, please? All right. Rich.
Yeah.
Hey. You're 24.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's time people start calling you Richard? No. Okay.
No.
What'd they call you when you're 9? Just Richie.
Is your dad's name Richard?
Yeah.
That's why.
Ah.
See?
Tom.
Well,
Tom.
No wonder he's got a show named after him. All right, what do you want, Rich?
Well, when I was younger, my brother sexually abused me. He molested me and made me do things. And I was 5, and he was like 12 or 13.
Okay, Rich, we're going to go to break.
Okay.
And you will be the first call when we come back. And I don't know how this works out, Drew, but how come I always goof on the most horrible calls? I mean, this is proof that I have no idea what the calls are.
Right.
Whenever I make fun of someone's name, it's like we laugh about it for a minute, I make fun of their name, or they have some sort of speech impediment, I dig into them on that, and then it's like... I just had a spontaneous abortion, and I'm a C4 quad, and there's a meteor heading for my trailer right now.
Yeah.
And my dad's so drunk he can't move it. Yeah. Okay.
We'll find out his brother's name when we come back.
Hey, the voice.
It is a Love Line. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. Tom Arnold is our guest tonight. You know him from True Lies, 9 Months, McHale's Navy, and a bunch of other movies, as well as a TV show, which he has coming out this September. First week, I believe. That would be Sunday night at 9 o'clock on the WB network, called The Tom Show. And for what it's worth, I like the Jackie Thomas Show.
I do, too.
What is that, about 4 years old now?
Mm-hmm.
And
93.
What was it? Just on a season?
Yeah, it was on for 18 episodes.
And you played. I mean, it was sort of a Larry Sanders before Larry Sanders, wasn't it?
Yeah, I played a guy that had his own TV show that was, it was a guy from Iowa worked at a meatpacking plant and had got his own show, and he wasn't the nicest person, and that was hard for the network because they wanted me to have a kid or something, so it niced me up, but he wasn't that nice. You felt sorry for him a little bit because but he wasn't. Some people just aren't great folks to have around, and they couldn't understand that.
Yeah. TV people are usually so lecherous and diabolical that when you get a little too close to home, they turn on you.
That's right.
Imagine a show about a guy in TV who's an a-hole.
They won't buy it.
They'll have none of that.
Yeah.
It's who was Hitler's spin doctor? It's the same principle. Goering, who was it?
Yeah, Goering.
The point is the show.
He's so proud of himself for coming up with that.
That was good.
Yeah, good, Adam. Go ahead.
Get paid the same. I thought the show was real solid.
Yeah.
And I think it may have surprised a lot of people because the public's perception of you is that you sort of rode in on Roseanne's coattails,
Right.
and she was basically throwing you a bone or something.
Right.
But as it turns out, the man's got some talent.
Well, and, something too. I don't think the network will put on shows for somebody's boyfriend or husband. They've, you see, they may give you a pilot, but they're not going to put it on the air.
Right.
Right.
Okay. And the new show is called The Tom Show on the WB, coming up in September. Rich, 24.
Well, Tom, I wish you luck on your new show.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. Rich's situation was his brother, I'm guessing older brother, molested.
He was 13, you say?
Yeah.
And you were 6?
Yes.
No.
6 or something like that.
And God knows what happened to you. Who did what to your brother when he was 6?
I don't know.
That's what causes kids to act out like that. They are sexually abused, and then they go out and abuse other kids. I mean, that's why there's such tremendous growth.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a people question: is it still? You think it's happening more these days, or are people just talking about it more? It's happening more. It has an exponential growth built into it. It's unbelievable.
What I'm afraid of is acting on, that happening to me with children.
Do you have that impulse?
No.
How was it an isolated episode, or did it happen quite a bit?
It happened. What I remember, it happened quite a bit. It led up to things until he tried anal sex and he hurt me.
Where's your brother now?
Well, he lives in the same state, but hate is the word that I tolerate him, but I just.
Have you confronted it? Did you ever talk to him about it?
No.
Did the family ever find out about it?
My mother, she was a nurse, and she found out about it.
Did she report it?
She took me to the doctor.
And?
Because I had rectal bleeding.
And she knew why? And she knew why?
Huh?
And she knew why?
Yeah.
And nobody ever intervened?
No.
Your dad never found out?
I don't know. I really don't know if my dad knows or not.
Well, what if you talk to your mother and say, what became of this? I mean, don't you feel that it's her responsibility to get him into some counseling and so forth?
Yeah, especially since he has kids now.
Oh, that was the question I wanted to ask. You've got to report this. You have to report this. You have to report this.
Who's he reported to?
The social services, the child protective services. You must.
He should also confront his brother. Maybe through a letter. I mean, here's a kid that is saying, "Hey, I'm worried about myself and this." And the thing he's doing that's good is he's talking about it.
Yeah.
Kids, people that do this and repeat this cycle, and it happened to me when I was a kid with a 18-year-old babysitter. I was between the ages of 4 and 7, and I eventually, as an adult, a few years ago, went back and confronted the guy in a safe way, but the fact that you sit and talk about it is what's going to prevent the cycle from continuing.
How, just a couple of years ago you confronted him?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
So you were a celebrity at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that must have freaked him out.
Well, yeah, it was a situation, and what I say is it was well planned out with my therapist. We worked on it. Because you don't want to go in and you want to kick somebody's ass, but you don't want to get arrested and then have him do more damage to you. And what happened was I found him, and I found out he was about to adopt another kid. He's adopted a lot of kids. He works for a church in Iowa.
Oh, beautiful.
Or he's a big person in the church. He has a white-collar job. And there were some coincidences that happened with, I'd mentioned that I'd been abused on a show, and I went to my sister's trial. She was being sentenced for something, drugs. She's still in prison, long story. But anyway, so this woman next to me says, "I saw you on the show."
Well, I don't mean to jump in, but with your past, you should really be funnier, Tom. I mean, you're a funny guy, but with all this, you should be ass-kicking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
So this woman at the trial says, "I heard you on Sally Jesse Raphael or whatever, talking about somebody from your old neighborhood." And she says, "It was this guy, Terry, whatever." And I said, "How do you know?" And she says, "Well, I'm married to his brother."
Oh.
And so it came together, and I had a private eye find the guy. I flew to Iowa, knew where he was, and I knew what I was going to say. And I got up there, and I went to his place of business, and the receptionist says, "Oh, my God, it's Tom Arnold." I said, "Is Terry, here?" It says, "Yeah, he's around the corner." So I saw him coming down the hall. I hadn't seen him since I was a kid. and he looked the same. He looked older. And as
What,
he got
is he 50 now, or?
Yeah, I'm 38. He must be.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked the same, and I saw him coming and walked up to me. And I saw his eyes, And as I got closer to him, it was so weird because he smelled the same. I mean, and as I said, "Hey, I'm here," I said, "I'm here to give you back the pain and shame you caused me as a kid when you molested me. And if you tried to do that to me now, I'd break your neck." And he put it, he was like, "Wait, your memories are wrong." And he put his finger in my chest, and it was just for a second, I just felt like that little kid. And so, I grabbed his hand and said, and then I just said it basically again louder. I mean, people heard, but that was it. I just left him there and said, "If you don't ever touch me again." And then I left there, and I went to the governor, and he was adopting a kid, and I said, "You got to help me. He's going to adopt another kid, and it's a process he's been doing." And they said, "We can't legally do anything, but he was blocks around his neighborhood. His name, his picture, what he'd done, up on every pole there was. They spent hours up there, and I felt real. And I talked to some members of the family, and the word was out. So that was it. And I felt that was it.
And did you feel a finality after that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was never more nervous about anything in my life. My heart was racing, and it just went so perfect because he was getting ready to leave his office, and and I just ran. I came out of there feeling like a whole different person, and I really felt finality and put closure on the whole thing. And it's not something I carry with me. I want to get rid of as many of those things as I can. It helps you not drink, and et cetera. And so it was a good situation.
Wow, and brave. I mean, most people associate brave with like bungee jumping or something, but this is brave in my book.
Really confronting your demons.
Rich, get your farm hands. Do you have farm hands? Okay, well, you heard it, Rich.
Yeah, but my main concern is, since then, my sexual appetite is just through the roof. And I don't know.
And that happens.
It has never slowed down.
And that happens.
When
People become sexual compulsive sometimes after this. If you can look into SA, you can look into therapy. Things will help you contain some of these impulses. And most of these impulses surround issues of aggression. And again, I just cannot say strong enough. You've got to report this because he is abusing those kids.
And your sexuality is balanced so precariously that it's so easy to screw it up. It really is. And if somebody gets in, and I wish people had the capacity to get through being molested and then go on and have a great family and a normal sex life or what have you, but it just doesn't work that way. It is so precarious that if a brother or a neighbor or dad or camp counselor or priest or babysitter or whatever gets hold of you, male or female, somewhere between the time you're born and maybe 18 or so, you're going to have trouble. It's sad, but it's true. And then it's going to take work on your part to rectify it. Hopefully, you don't have to go to the lengths that Tom went to. But you definitely cannot leave it unchecked.
And I also went to the police in my hometown. I went in there and talked to the chief of police and told him what happened. And he said, well, it's been so many years, but, we'll check into this. We'll see what we could do. And with this kid, Rich, I think, you tell your mother, they suggested talk to her about, say, what happened? Did you tell Dad? But getting the word out is very important.
Right. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Tristan.
Yeah, hi.
You're 24. You're on LoveLine.
I have a question for Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
I was having sex with my girlfriend, and she was on top of me, facing my feet. She sort of laid down on her stomach when we were doing that, and I kind of got stretched out a little bit. For about a week now, it's been just constant pain. I tried to call a local Ask a Nurse line here in Sacramento.
Go to a urologist. Can you urinate?
Yes, it's
no problem.
That's a problem. It feels like it's sprained.
Yeah.
When I called her and I asked if I don't have any insurance, so I don't want to go into the doctor unless it's absolutely necessary.
Can he run it off, Drew?
No.
Excuse me?
No.
It'll heal itself, though, won't it?
Potentially, but it can scar and cause erectile dysfunction. There can be
Is
things,
it a
depending how
pulled
severe this
muscle? I
is.
mean,
Well,
because
it's a
it is
tear.
muscle,
I mean,
right?
you can tear. It's soft tissue, and it can be torn.
Oh, God.
You know, it may.
He didn't. Did you feel the pain at the time?
Yeah, but, you know, I didn't want to cry.
Yeah. I asked that question, was a loaded question, because I've said this many times. Guys and women, for that matter, sexually, I believe there's a gland that produces Novocaine.
Mm-hmm.
It is in the neck somewhere, and it's only used during sex. And I swear to God, a guy could have a rusty sprinkler key in his liver, and he would, it's not bleeding too bad.
Yeah.
Well, just wait, I'll be done in a minute here. If a guy is getting oral sex or getting it on or whatever, I don't care. And this is how people hurt themselves. I've seen people with things on their knees where the actual cap had come off their knees. And, well, we were getting it on the carpet the other day. But wasn't there a point when you were going to stop? I mean, when the cartilage was showing through. You weren't, well,
and
I wasn't done.
women are the same. You could be in bed, and her head is between the headboard and the wall, and you smash it, and it's great. And then afterwards, you touch her on the shoulder, and she's like, ow, oh, jeez.
People have a high threshold for pain when they have an erection. Drew, is this not a medical fact?
Endorphins.
All right. So what do you suggest? He has no insurance.
He really needs to see somebody. I mean, I don't know what extent of injury he has. I mean, he is risking permanent erectile dysfunction.
All right, so so go to one of those free clinics. Hell, I've been to one of those. I'm not proud about it, and it's a little humiliating because they're always run by lesbians, and
well, that's nothing wrong with that, buddy.
Yeah, but you're sitting there with the enemy hanging out of your pants while Nurse Ratchet and the other one are discussing the fate of your penis.
Andrea Dworkin working on you.
All right, back with more Tom Arnold after this.
I don't think they're...
Hi, this is Shirley and Steve from Garbage, and you're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla.
And Dr. Drew.
Yes, you is. And Tom Arnold.
Yeah,
How you do?
I love them. Yeah, they're a great band.
We love them as well. We brought them out on stage at the K-Rock Weenie Roast last weekend.
I wish I could have been there.
And
you know Ann now. You just asked her.
Oh, yeah.
Two weekends before that, I was
Is Ann Michelle's sister?
Yeah.
I know Michelle. Michelle is a friend of my wife's, and it's one of these deals where you say you're going to do the show because I like the show, and then my wife calls me from school. Hey, you going to do the show because your publicist is calling her back. I said, well, what are you talking? How are you involved? Well, Ann's Michelle's friend of Michelle's one of my buddies. Michelle and my wife and some of their girlfriends went to Cabo. Now, see, when I go out to tell my buddies, it's like my wife just thinks the worst, and she accuses me, your buddies are obnoxious, or you guys are out while. They had a giant penis, a plastic penis they slept with and took out to the bars with them. It was a bachelorette party of some sort. But maybe it's them getting wasted and going out and...
It sounds like some kind of pagan ritual.
Yeah, it is. And, but if you saw a bunch of good-looking gals out at a bar with a giant inflatable penis, you'd probably think they're, looking for love or something.
It's the penis piñata.
Yeah.
Here's my take on women when it comes to partying. Guys, a lot of guys will cut loose every weekend. Women will save it up. I mean, a lot of guys will go to a strip club. They'll go every other week or a couple times a month, and they kind of get it out in doses. Women, it's been 6.5 years since they've seen a shaved ass and a tan body. They go out to Chippendales because they put a couple of Chardonnays in them, and all of a sudden they're up on stage.
Yeah.
Women, they do it, guys do it incrementally, women do it all at once.
That's true.
And there's no data that would convince me that women aren't just as wild as guys. Society sort of keeps them in check, but once society's not looking and they're across the border, out comes the giant penis.
Right.
Sheila.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, you're 24.
Yeah. I'm calling for a few reasons. First of all, I'm having this problem at home that I'm just about to move out finally after all these years, and it's really hard to do it. It's really hard to finally break this tie or whatever, and
Why are you moving out? Are you getting married or something like that?
No. I'm just finally moving out. Just finally getting away from my parents. I've been wanting to move out. Well, I moved out to go to college, and then I had to come back because I had some
You got like a
depressive anxiety disorder.
Oh, okay. I have a book for you.
Really?
This is a guy named James Masterson wrote a book, The Search for the Real Self.
Uh-huh.
It's a real characteristic syndrome when people get these depressive episodes around the time they do for college.
Oh, that's not only why. I've had a lot of the main reason I wanted to call was because like it totally touched me earlier when you guys were talking about how a lot of problems are caused by their family and how a lot of things are not really your fault. And that, you know, because I tend to take a lot of responsibility for everything that I'm dealing with, and maybe like a lot of it is
What happened to you?
kind of baggage from my family.
What happened?
Oh, all kinds of things, abuse and neglect and just all kinds of things. And it's like it's like a totally new idea for me to think this way, the way you guys are talking. You know, Tom and Tom's input and everyone, you know.
Yeah, Tom's going to be regular on the show, by the way.
Yeah, he should be.
He's replacing Adam. It's all right.
He's a great. Yeah,
I didn't say that, Drew. I said a regular.
I said that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sheila,
Yeah.
you come from this abusive environment,
Yeah.
yet you're staying there, and you're
well,
3
I
months
had to
away from
stay there.
menopause.
Well, I had.
But here's the deal: you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was really sick though.
Oh, okay.
I really was. There was nowhere for me to go. I had no money. When I got out of college, I got into this bandwagon of people that were really bad for me, and I got into pot smoking, and I didn't realize that I was already really vulnerable from the family I came from. I didn't do any personal searching.
all right, you've been doing some though. I can tell that.
Yeah, recently.
All right. But what is your
I
question?
just got really into a situation where I had to be here because I was really sick. I was really depressed, and what's it called? Chronic
Fatigue?
No. I was hospitalized, but that's not important, you know. But the point is that I had a really low period, and I actually had to be here because I didn't have anywhere else to go.
Okay, but now you're getting out.
Yeah, now I'm finally getting better. I'm like on this medication, and I'm getting better, and I'm starting to, you know.
All right. Don't get your security deposit back. You don't want to hurt anything in the apartment.
What?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I'm just ready. I'm just done with this call. Sheila, you're 24.
Tom's mic isn't working.
Yeah, there it goes.
You're 24. You're getting out of the house.
Yeah, I'm finally
Good.
getting out, and I
Go.
just wanted to thank you guys.
Well, thank you.
It's probably scary to leave all that craziness. It's scary sometimes. You know, then what are you going to have?
Yeah, you have strangers screwing you instead of familiar people you know.
But people that are used to that sort of chaos are pretty good about recreating it in the real world.
All right, that's a nice parting gift for Drew. Aaron, 23.
Yes, sir. First off, I want to say all three of you guys never cease to entertain me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you mean Drew?
All three of you
Drew,
guys.
okay.
Tom, Drew, and Adam. All three of you guys. Can I ask a real quick medical question?
Yeah.
For my main point?
Mm-hmm.
There's like I've 2 times now, recently within the past couple months, I guess, I've had like a swelling in my lower abdomen, just above my penis. Is there like I don't know, is there like something down there is this normal?
Is it right in the midline or to one side?
To one side, right, to the left side.
Could be a hernia. Could be a hernia. Could be
really?
could be a lymph node.
Yeah, that's, well, like when I pressed on it, it felt like it, you know, like a water bag.
Aaron, let me just make sure because I'm no doctor, but Drew, most of the body it contains something, right? There's no vacant spots. There's no caverns in the body.
Mostly.
There's always stuff somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron.
Okay. So that
I'm not sure where you're going with that, but
Aaron wasn't sure if there was if above the penis there was stuff.
It sounds like a hernia, frankly, and so you ought to have a doctor check it out.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, here's the situation.
Tom says yes.
No, I was going to say I have a question after you guys are done.
Go ahead.
I thought about something. Well, what is that on your scrotum there's like a seam on mine, like it was fixed up or something, like
Right.
and it goes all the way back down around it. What is that? Is that right? What's that supposed to be called?
That's where God stuffed you. I believe that the human was formed like a big sack, and actually your innards, bones, and everything within you was stuffed in through that small opening, and that's where they stitched you up. Drew, is that?
My anatomy has been a long time, but I think it's called the linea albuginea.
That's where you could have been a girl, right?
Well, we all started as girls, right?
Right. And then that goes all the way down to the taint.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, is there a real name for the taint?
Perineum.
Oh yeah, perineum. That's right. Okay.
That's the spot between Scrotumberg and Anusville.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right on the border.
Taint
there.
Scrotumberg, Taint Anusville.
Where are you living? You're right between Scrotumberg and Anusville, right on the border there. Tain't no big thing. All right, Aaron, what is your real question?
Okay, here's the situation.
And how did it get to 90 in this place all of a sudden? Is it
It's that pie. That pie was so good.
Let's go.
Okay, here's the situation. I kind of met this girl about a year ago. I ran into her a couple times in my college, but we never really spoke. We just kind of like gave each other looks and stuff like that. Well, we actually sort of met at a party last year around Halloween. And ever since then, we kind of gave each other a few looks. And she invited me. We were walking by each other in the hallway one day, and she said, hey, are you coming to this party? And I was like, what party? I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. So she invites me to this party, and I showed up. She showed up. She seemed like she was really excited. So, and I've been wanting to meet this girl, but it just had never really happened.
All right, and
it went nowhere quick. And so, like, I saw her driving to school one day, and I left like a note on her car, like just as like kind of like a secret admirer. Hello?
Yeah.
I left a note on her car, a secret admirer type thing, like twice in a row.
Aaron?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the worst thing I've ever done.
And then what happened after you left the note twice in a row?
A couple days later. And so, like, this one day that I was trying to run into her, right? I was out by her car. And What?
Listen, Aaron.
Yeah.
What happened? Did something sexual happen?
Well, I'm there right now.
Okay, buddy.
I'm at my car, and she was coming out to her car with her friend, and she saw me and just kind of like stared at me, and I got in my car and drove off. Well, ever since then, I haven't like. She doesn't really look at me anymore. She doesn't really show me, that eye contact. So I'm just thinking, is there? You guys think there's any chance I could still get with this girl?
No, absolutely not. No.
There's a chance you get arrested,
No.
though.
Yeah. Right. No possible way.
Yeah.
I don't go in for these backdoor shenanigans.
Ever since I stopped taking Depo-Provera, I've been lactating.
Ah, yes. Drew, the mics are hot, please. Tom will answer that off the air. Diamond Limo is the limousine company I'd like to thank for getting
Abraham is my driver, Abe. Just like in India, but in Hebrew it's pronounced, I should know, that's my father.
Abraham.
Kilwhitey.
No, exactly. I forget.
All right.
Sarah's husband.
He's driving you right off a cliff on the way home. All right, I want to thank Diamond Limo for doing a great job tonight. I want to thank Tom Arnold for being so forthright and so honest. And that's really what we want in a guest. And Tom, you're everything we could have hoped for.
Thank you.
Not
You guys
just
too.
Kissing butt. You're wide open. You spoke about your experiences and past, as painful as it was for you. And that's what the show is about, kiddies. So we do thank you. And when the Tom Show starts up on the WB network in September on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock, come on back.
8 Central.
And and plug it just like you did.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I would be happy to. This is fun. I could do this.
We would.
And you guys get paid for doing this? This is fun.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I believe it.
Messing with the minds of young people all over America.
2 nights in a row, you'd want money. All right. So until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew, wishing the beautiful producer Ann a happy birthday and saying mahalo.
This has been LoveLine. The opinions expressed herein are certainly opinions, that's for sure. If you'd like a written transcript of today's program, you probably should have written it down yourself. And if you did, we'd like a copy. LoveLine producer Ann Wilkins.
This broadcast was copyright 1997 Westwood One Entertainment. This music
That's it, Obo. Obo, stop dragging your butt across the carpet.